There are places in the world that impress you for a moment, and then there are places that quietly stay with you forever. Canada is one of those rare places. Here, mountains don't simply rise, they guard ancient stories. Lakes become mirrors that reflect dreams instead of clouds. Endless forests breathe with a silence so deep that it almost feels alive. And somewhere between the crashing Atlantic waves and the icy Arctic winds, you begin to realize that this journey isn't only about discovering a country. It's about rediscovering a part of yourself that modern life has almost made you forget. In 2026, as travelers search for destinations that offer more than crowded streets and famous landmarks, Canada continues to reveal something far more valuable, moments that slow time itself. So instead of rushing from place to place, let's take the scenic road together. Our story begins where the Atlantic Ocean has spent thousands of years shaping both the land and the hearts of the people who call it home. *10. Peggy's Cove, Nova Scotia. Morning arrives gently along the rugged coastline of Nova Scotia. A cool sea breeze carries the scent of salt water, while waves roll endlessly against smooth granite rocks polished by centuries of tides. At first glance, Peggy's Cove feels almost unreal. Small weathered fishing boats drift quietly in the harbor, colorful wooden homes cling to the rocky shore, and standing above it all is one of Canada's most photographed lighthouses, watching faithfully over the Atlantic. Yet what makes this village unforgettable isn't simply its beauty, it's its resilience. Generations of fishing families have built their lives here, learning to respect the powerful ocean that provides both opportunity and challenge. Every weathered dock and every faded boat tells a story of courage, patience, and hope. As the sun slowly rises, golden light spills across the granite shoreline, transforming ordinary rocks into glowing sculptures. Seagulls circle overhead, while the lighthouse casts its long morning shadow toward the sea, creating a scene that feels less like reality and more like a timeless painting. Standing here, it's impossible not to slow your breathing. The ocean has a way of reminding us that life doesn't always need to move so fast. But as our path continues inland, the restless Atlantic slowly gives way to peaceful freshwater landscapes, where hundreds of islands create one of Canada's most enchanting hidden worlds. *9. Thousand Islands, Ontario *. The St. Lawrence River widens quietly, and suddenly the water begins to scatter into hundreds of emerald-covered islands, each one looking as though it has drifted into place by pure imagination. Some islands are barely large enough for a single pine tree. Others hold elegant stone castles, cozy cottages, and quiet gardens that seem untouched by time. Together, they form the magical Thousand Islands, a place where every turn of the river reveals another unexpected surprise. Gliding across the calm water, you begin to notice something remarkable. The world becomes quieter. There are no towering skylines competing for attention, only gentle ripples beneath the boat and birds soaring effortlessly across the endless blue sky. Perhaps the most fascinating landmark here is Bold Castle, a grand mansion built as a symbol of everlasting love. Though tragedy interrupted its completion for many years, today it stands as a reminder that even unfinished dreams can become beautiful stories. As evening approaches, the islands glow beneath soft golden sunlight, while reflections shimmer like liquid glass across the river's surface. It's the kind of place where conversations naturally become whispers, not because anyone asks you to be quiet, but because nature already speaks loudly enough. Leaving behind the peaceful river feels almost impossible. Yet farther east, where mountains meet the Atlantic once again, another landscape is preparing to leave an even deeper impression. *8. Cape Breton Highlands, Nova Scotia. The road begins to climb. With every winding curve, forests grow thicker, cliffs become steeper, and the endless Atlantic Ocean stretches farther toward the horizon. This is the legendary Cabot Trail, one of the world's most scenic coastal drives, wrapping itself around the dramatic cliffs of Cape Breton Highlands National Park. Driving here doesn't feel like reaching a destination. It feels like becoming part of the landscape itself. One moment you're surrounded by dense evergreen forests alive with birdsong. The next, you're standing on towering cliffs where powerful waves crash hundreds of feet below, sending white spray into the cool ocean air. In autumn, these mountains transform into an extraordinary canvas of crimson, amber, and brilliant gold. The forests seem to glow beneath the afternoon sun, creating colors so vibrant they almost appear painted. Wild moose quietly wander through the valleys, bald eagles soar high above the cliffs, and if you're fortunate enough, you may even spot whales breaking the ocean's surface just beyond the coastline. There's a quiet magic here that photographs can never fully capture. It's found in the crisp mountain air filling your lungs, in the rhythm of waves echoing against ancient cliffs, in the feeling that the world is much bigger and far more beautiful than you remembered. And just when it seems Canada has revealed its most extraordinary landscapes, our journey begins turning north, toward a place where winter writes its own unforgettable stories, and where one of nature's most magnificent creatures waits beneath the dancing Arctic sky. Some places ask you to look. Others ask you to listen. As our journey moves farther north, Canada begins to reveal a different side of its soul, one that is untamed, unpredictable, and wonderfully wild. Here, nature doesn't perform for visitors. It simply lives just as it has for thousands of years, and those lucky enough to witness it become part of a story much older than themselves. Our next destination isn't famous because of towering buildings or luxurious resorts. It's celebrated because it reminds us that the greatest spectacles on Earth are still written by nature alone. *7, Churchill, Manitoba *. Winter arrives early in Churchill. Snow blankets the landscape in silence, and the frozen shores of Hudson Bay stretch endlessly toward the horizon beneath an endless Arctic sky. At first glance, the town feels quiet, almost isolated from the rest of the world. But hidden within this remote corner of Canada is one of the planet's greatest wildlife experiences. Every autumn, Churchill becomes the gathering place for hundreds of polar bears as they patiently wait for the sea ice to form. Watching one of these magnificent animals walk gracefully across the snowy tundra is both humbling and unforgettable. There is no zoo, no fences. Only the respectful distance between humans and one of Earth's most powerful predators. As darkness falls, another miracle begins. The northern lights slowly awaken above the frozen landscape. Curtains of emerald green ripple across the stars, dancing silently as though the sky itself has come alive. Standing beneath them, words seem unnecessary. Some moments are simply meant to be felt. Leaving Churchill feels like saying goodbye to another world. Yet as the frozen north fades behind us, the sound of rushing water begins to grow louder, pulling us toward one of nature's most powerful performances. *6, Niagara Falls, Ontario *. Long before you see it, you hear it. A deep, thunderous roar echoes through the air, growing stronger with every step until suddenly, the mist rises before you, and one of the world's greatest waterfalls comes into view. Millions of gallons of water pour relentlessly over towering cliffs every single minute, creating a breathtaking display of raw power. Photographs can capture its beauty. Videos can capture its movement. But nothing truly prepares you for standing beside Niagara Falls and feeling the ground gently vibrate beneath your feet. Tiny droplets drift through the air, cooling your face as rainbows appear and disappear within the mist. For centuries, indigenous communities have regarded this place as sacred, while countless travelers have stood here in quiet amazement, reminded of nature's incredible force. At night, colorful lights transform the waterfalls into a glowing masterpiece, while fireworks occasionally illuminate the sky above the rushing water. Yet perhaps the most memorable experience comes aboard a boat that carries visitors close enough to feel completely surrounded by the falls. Wrapped in mist and deafened by the roaring water, the outside world disappears, replaced by pure wonder. But Canada's story isn't written only by dramatic waterfalls. Sometimes, its greatest beauty is found where mountains meet the sea. *5 Vancouver Island, British Columbia. The landscape changes once again. Towering cedar forests replace city skylines, salty ocean air fills every breath, and the rhythm of crashing Pacific waves sets a slower pace for life. Vancouver Island feels wonderfully untouched. Ancient trees rise hundreds of feet into the sky, some having quietly witnessed more than 8 centuries of Canadian history. Walking beneath these towering giants is a reminder of just how small we really are. Along the rugged coastline, sea otters drift peacefully through floating kelp forests, while bald eagles glide effortlessly overhead. In the distance, whales occasionally breach the ocean's surface, sending fountains of water into the crisp coastal air. Every season brings a different reason to visit. Spring covers gardens in brilliant colors. Summer invites kayakers to explore hidden coves. Autumn wraps forests in golden light. Winter transforms storm watching into an unforgettable adventure, as enormous Pacific waves crash dramatically against rocky shores. The island's charming communities, local seafood, indigenous heritage, and relaxed atmosphere create something increasingly rare in today's fast-moving world, a place where time feels beautifully unimportant. You stop checking the clock. You simply exist. And perhaps that's the greatest luxury of all. Yet Canada's most dramatic landscapes still lie ahead. Beyond these forests, deep within the Rocky Mountains, another wilderness awaits, one where glaciers, turquoise rivers, and towering peaks create scenery so extraordinary that it almost seems impossible. Our journey continues there in the final chapter. To be continued in Part 3.